Welcome to another episode of the Top Corner Podcast, and today is 10/28/24. Yes,
Captain's log, star date.
Yeah, boy. We had a lot of news, a lot of good, bad news, or whatever. But guess what? If you're here, you really want to hear about this. It's soccer, football,
Soccer.
whatever.
I like how you say soccer, by the way. Soccer.
How you doing? My co-host today is Julian.
Good.
Julian, but
Good. Wife's back in town. Schedule resumes
applause
normalcy.
for her.
Okay, yeah. Went to the UK and went to Australia on business stuff, so that was nice for her. But business as usual now, and so we're all back. And a lot of stuff over the weekend, a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff that happened even like an hour ago. We got some Ballon d'Or news to talk about.
Oh, yeah. A lot of weird backlash, a lot of things.
Yeah, and I'll let you go ahead and field the conversation because that backlash is partly why I don't know if I have too much to say. So just you
about it?
Yeah, you go ahead and field it.
Yeah. Well, let's see what we gotta say about it. So first of all, a round of applause for my man Rodri. Rodri won it. A lot of people thought Vinicius should have won it. Some thought Rodri should have won it, and he won it. I don't know. I feel like it could have gone either way. And did you see the top finalist, the top 10?
I saw that it was
Foden made it.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah, he made it in top 10.
Wait, read the top 10 off because I only saw the top 2 and those were Rodri and Vinny.
Oh, I'll have to check it, but off head, the first one Rodri won it.
Yeah.
I think second one was Vinicius.
It was for sure.
Third one was Bellingham, if I want to believe so. Fourth one was, I'm just going off head. But so Rodri performed all around. The argument is, okay, Vinicius had, great moments during the season.
Yeah.
Especially the Champions League, where he just came in, those last couple of games because he missed 3 months. He was injured.
Mm-hmm.
Rodri all around won the Ballon, won the league with City, but didn't win the Champions League, obviously, because guess who won it? Madrid.
Yep.
Then also performed well in the internationals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna think, or if you're gonna say Rodri should have won, Vinicius should have won, I can understand that. And if you're gonna say Rodri won it and it's the right call, I can understand that too.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, the criteria becomes a little fuzzy because if you take all around here, and the incentive is all due to like this extra burst of performance where it was above a lot of performances in general of Vinicius Jr.
Yeah.
All these great moments. Are you taking those moments to be, hey, based on this is why I think he should have won it? Or are you taking the fact that on average, because in the Copa America, Brazil didn't perform that great.
No.
So it's also harming his chances. But again, Madrid did not send any of their players, congregation, whatever. They kind of boycotting the whole thing.
Yeah. So regardless of who won, and I'll go ahead and say that whoever wants to complain about who deserved the award or whatever, like you're allowed to say that. We can agree that not even showing up to the ceremony is pussy behavior, right?
Yeah, not showing.
Yeah.
Bitch
behavior. Bitch boys. even Carlo, old bitch.
Oh yeah, Carlo didn't show up. Well, it depends too. If I'm Carlo, I'm not showing up, to be honest. It's not even. The reason is because guess who is the best coach? The Spain coach. So you're telling me because you won that competition, you get to be the best coach when I won the league and I won the Champions League.
It's bitch behavior. Show up to the ceremony.
Yeah, I don't know. I
stand by it.
For 3 years now, I actually haven't been feeling the Ballon d'Or.
Sure, I agree with that.
Because I think the incentive, the way they're doing it, they're moving the goalposts every time just so it fits really what person
it fits
really
a story
want.
more so than it does the performances. I agree.
A lot of actually, and another thing, they might be losing a lot of people year after year because it's not the Madrid who didn't win. Even I think PSG didn't go, and it was in France. And I think another club, I think Marseille. I forgot what even the clubs in France that was in France didn't was like we don't care about it anymore. So I'm thinking I don't know if United went, but United apparently wanted their players to go with City players. They were like, City was like, yeah, we don't have place for you guys. You guys just book your own flight. Some I would say Vinicius could have gone, but again, that's on him. Some might say the word he said, and for me personally, I thought Vinicius would had a better chance of winning.
Really?
But Rodri, yeah,
I thought
because of all the moments he played. But Rodri winning is not also bad because I can see why overall everything. I think he had 14 goals as a midfielder.
Well, I was gonna say it's more about what he contributes to the side in every phase of play, not just goals. And when it becomes about just goals, then only a striker or maybe a winger, if they get lucky, is going to have a chance of winning this thing. And it's like it's supposed to be the best player overall. And I think that over, and don't get me wrong, the Messi Ronaldo thing, like they both deserved the Ballon d'Ors that they won. But I think that having it so long locked within them, now it feels impossible for a non-forward player to win it. Like people don't want to justify the fact that it's about what he contributes to, again, every phase of play, every stage of build-up, every, backtrack into defense. Like these things all matter. It's the best player. It's not the best goal scorer. Unless it is, and then just say that. But it seems like fans are a bit, and consumers of the sport are a bit confused then because they're, only wanting certain types of players to win.
That's true. For Spain, Rodri just played 13 games and scored 3 goals.
Again, as more of a holding midfielder. He's not quite a pure holding midfielder, but he is
but the impact, like you said, it could have gone both ways. I don't know if I think the international competition tipped the scale on his favor.
Sure.
Because overall, if there was no international competition, I don't think he would have won it. And if he won without the international, if that wasn't even a base and just people just consider the whole season, then there's a problem because Vinicius should win.
But international it's always included. In the
overall it's always included. So I think if Vinicius had performed more during the international, he probably would have been there. Where did Brazil go out actually in the Copa America? I think
they've been unimpressive for the last 2 or 3
Well, the last Copa America, did they get knocked out? Did they go to the finals?
I don't remember offhand.
I don't remember too. Because if they did, now I can see. But the whole thing, to be honest, and they said this is the criteria if you want to win the Ballon d'Or: overall impact, best player, individual performance, right, and fair play. First of all, I get that, but this comment on Reddit was like, well, Vinicius is not a fair play guy because he whines a lot and he's always about all this like wasted stuff and whatnot, progressing. Activist or whatever.
Yeah,
I think there's bull crap. But so I've never seen anything Rodri has done fair play. So fair play for them is none. So individual and overall, I think Rodri had a little bit more percentage, but the it wasn't that far. Either of them could win. Like Thierry, he said, if he thought Rodri should have won it. This was last week that he was saying this. But if Vinicius win it, it's not bad. It's still the same. That was where the
backlash was confusing to me because we and other people were having this conversation a couple of months ago, and it was maybe not an overwhelmingly favorite for Rodri, but I mean like. The consensus was that Rodri was probably going to win, and that was okay. And now all of a sudden, there's a lot of backlash around it, and you're like, I thought we were all on the same page that like both of these guys had great seasons, but like Rodri being the better all-around player in the season makes more sense for him to win. And now everybody's like throwing a fit, even though I thought we understood that this was probably going to happen.
I think the fit part
like it wasn't controversial until this afternoon. Yeah. Sorry, like nobody got up in arms until this afternoon, but everybody understood that this was going to happen.
Yeah, well, that's why I said the whole thing is kind of weird because I remember a season that Ronaldo did perfectly good. That's why I said it's kind of crazy because Modric did really good in 2018 overall.
Yeah.
But Ronaldo should have won it because exceptionally, although he didn't perform well in the World Cup, like Madrid, but exceptionally, like the league, he was best scorer in the league, Champions League, and whatever. So he should have won it. Although you had an additional competition, but it doesn't give you. I think that's what the confusion always like for Messi winning last year. I'll never ever get over the fact that if you show up for a month in the World Cup, you can win it. So that's I think sometimes FIFA kind of play favorites.
I think it's a good reason that the international stuff is sort of staggered out over certain years, so that it's like, you have your regular domestic season, you have your European competition, and then more often than not, you have a large international competition in the summer. This is understood. Copa America or Euros or World Cup, where everyone sort of gets that same opportunity. I mean, again, it's always been that way. So like all three of those units are factored into the decision. So
I mean, and it's also, I don't think. I think Rodri winning is good. There shouldn't be.
There's no
crazy.
problem with it. It's like if you
either of them, I didn't have any problem.
And so and this is where people are acting like bitches all the time, because it's like, look, it's not unfair. This outcome. It's not like you can disagree with it, but I think that getting up in arms and throwing certain words and phrases around regarding the outcome is well, see, that's the thing. So we'll go ahead and say that, and this is why I didn't want to say much about it. Once you start bringing race into the discussion, it's difficult for me to continue the conversation, because the last thing that I'm going to do is have people come at me for having an opinion outside of that element. But because that element exists, that now all of a sudden my opinion is not only invalidated, but I'm like a villain in the circumstances. So so it's like, as soon as you throw that around, I just walk away from the conversation, because we're not having a real conversation about the play on the ball. It's something else.
So the element of race, I thought about it at 10%, but there's not a lot of justification for race to be in the competition. Now, if let's say Rodri that season, it would be really difficult too, because let's say Vinicius wasn't injured and he had, just hypothetically, he had a really good season, right? He had a good nationals, and Rodri has the same season. Let's just make the same season. Then I will have to wonder.
No shit, because Vinny played better.
Yes, now I will have to wonder. I was now we have to look outside of the element of just football.
Of course.
Right? But right now, there's no race. I think this tie is tied. It's more like the opinion. Because at the end of the day, the people who voted are journalists. So it's not a consensus of we all have the same opinion. Some people are not even voting on the basis of the best. They're just voting because I like the guy. Like the Messi voting, there's no way people were voting because it's just pure. I know a lot of people justify because it's the World Cup, and they say, like, this one guy, I forgot, he's on ESPN America, and he was like, it's the World Cup. You show in the World Cup, you win anything. I was like,
that's not true. I mean, like, that's the most important team-based trophy in the sport.
But it doesn't mean you as an individual, you know. But so I don't think there's enough to throw race in.
Well, and that's why, like, even, that I think the Ballon d'Or is kind of stupid anyway. It has a history, it has a prestige, but I mean, at the end of the day, this is not. It's an individual trophy in a team-based sport. I don't see it. It becomes very subjective at that point, because, like, I mean, in tennis, the best player in the world because he fucking won. Like, but this individual players, they weren't playing one-on-ones. You know what I mean? So it's like
I get you.
So it's just like
I think I have a fix for this. My fix is they should allow, right? Because I don't know, I forgot how the voting scale. I think some people have even more. The coaches get to vote. Some journalists, not all of the journalists. I think some federations too. America, South Africa, or whatever. Right? I think they should all abolish that because I've come to a realization that journalists, a lot on the majority, just a lot of them bias. So sometimes they pick a player that they like. And it don't matter if the player did good, but they want the player to be good, right? I think my fix is create an account. FIFA should create an account where there's all the players listed that play in, let's say when the season starts, everyone, MLS, whatever, right? Then when the season it goes on, it shrinks. Right? Based on everyone that can go. Every fan, you probably will have to. Now the catch is you probably will need like $20 or $40 to open your account. Then you can click on the vote, and you keep voting until the last day, because now is the world that's voting.
Yeah.
Then I think that would be fair.
I think it could be more like the Academy Awards as well, where like one, journalists should not be able to vote on anything.
Yes.
But the the Academy for the Oscars is like, those are actors, those are people in the business, those are filmmakers, those are producers.
Oh, the one that votes for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I think that players and coaches should be the ones that get to vote, because they're the ones that watch in, like you can be objective.
Yes.
And I mean, even if it comes down to just most of them voting for themselves.
Yeah.
Because they're whatever. I mean, like let it happen. I mean, but like at a certain point, if you're not playing, you don't get to vote. Like you can have your own opinion.
Yeah.
But especially if you're a journalist, because you can get kickbacks from other people. You know, your part of your writing is from a subjective standpoint in sports journalism, because sports journalism oftentimes is not real journalism.
Yeah.
It's a fan that has a bone to pick with someone else.
That's true.
So yeah, it becomes very. Tony Cruz had a good example. He's like he thought it was stupid because.
Oh, he said that? I like the guy.
Yeah, he didn't like it. Yeah, he kind of had the same opinion of like it's a singular award. It's a single person's award in a team game. There's only so much that you can really break down from that. And there's no subjectivity of a team winning an award, because they're playing the match and the outcome is the outcome.
Yeah.
So there's no outcome. These guys aren't all playing one-on-ones. That would be funny as shit, though. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
It's like just some futsal style ones-on-ones, like Benzema versus Saliba. What would that have been like? It'd been funny as hell. Would have loved that.
Erik ten Hag has been sacked.
He's gone. The applause. Sorry, Iwan.
I know.
Sorry,
and
buddy.
I kept telling Iwan, you guys don't need this guy. In fact, I think this guy should have been sacked before the season started.
What did the West Ham loss have to do with anything?
No,
there's so many other stages that he should have been let go at.
No, but the West Ham was so funny because I was on Reddit and some Arsenal fan, which is one of the most hated fan base right now in Premier League, because they're like freaking mice, like it's just everywhere, and they were like, man, we wanted him to stay. So everyone
tanking
the club, and
everyone in England wanted him to stay.
And he was like, and they were like, "Oh, West Ham, you bitch."
Yeah.
But I think they will have fired him, regardless of the outcome at some point in this year, because there was a lot of rumors that came out that the club was talking with other coaches, and I think somewhere the interview he was like, "There's a bunch of lies." And he's one thing about Erik ten Hag, he is also arrogant in nothing. That I mean, I don't want you to justify your arrogance, right? But if you don't prove it,
I don't think that he's genuinely arrogant in terms of believing it. I think that he puts on the persona and kind of postures for the media, wanting to have the because Jose Mourinho's arrogant.
No, but
in a good way.
In a good way.
No, and he can back it up. I think that he wants to sort of posture a bit more like Carlo Ancelotti, where he's a bit more laid back and reserved.
Yeah.
But you have to win
to
have that mentality. So when he tries to be the calm, cool one, but is not succeeding, then he slightly lashes out a little bit, and it's not because he believes what he's saying. Yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. People do that in other aspects of life as well. People do that in the business world, in entertainment. You know what I mean? You're adopting that cool sort of smoke screen in front of you, that persona, to shield the insecurity from you. And sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. His was kind of obvious based on the way that he would then kind of break it and not have outbursts, but the way that he would pick at things, and the way that he always goes back to the FA Cup win, and like going back to the few moments of success, that shows that you're insecure with the overall state of your run. Yeah. If you're just if you have on one hand the things that you can highlight. You know what I mean?
I see.
But yeah, I mean, we were debating whether or not he was going to stay until Christmas.
Yeah.
And it came a little bit later, but at the end of the day, I think everyone knew that it was impossible to stay past Christmas.
You get to spend in your 2 years. I think he got to the club in 2022. You get to spend 5 to 600 million, and you don't do anything. You bring every single players that you had success back in the days or whatever days that was, and you fail to have an identity as a club. Every time United plays, you don't know if they are holding base play team. You don't know if the possession based play.
There's no
you
sense
don't
of
know
tactics
if it's a
at all.
counter attack. You don't know the everything is just all over the place. And
Yeah.
you look at the team and you say, so what are we playing? The players themselves don't know what to play.
They're asking, what are we playing? The fans are asking, what are we playing?
Yeah.
The commentators, the pundits are asking, what are they playing?
Yeah.
I think Ten Hag's probably asking, what are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
And to
It's a surprise. We'll pick it up as we go along.
And I think he didn't see this coming too, because what they did to bring all the Dutch around him, Van Nistelrooy, I keep his name, Van Nistelrooy, the assistant coach, and some of the coaches were Dutch, so he's thinking, oh, they want me to succeed because the environment is my people.
Yeah.
But if if there's no success, you can't produce any success from that, then the question becomes, are you the fault? Now, a lot of people saying 50-50, the blame is also on the players because they can't play, but it's difficult to play when there's no system, unless you want us to just go and manufacture it, especially in today's football. Back in the 50s, that could work.
I was gonna say, this is the one era that you can't do that. You could have done it 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Of just go out and be yourselves, be expressive, but because we've all sort of, we as if I'm the one that's contributing to this, but coaches across not only Europe,
yes,
but the whole game itself have become incredibly more tactical,
yeah.
And it's not an individual game anymore. It's everybody as a certain unit. Even
Yes.
players that can succeed in a system that gives them more freedom. You'd rather that player be more restricted and have a worse performance personally if it contributes to the team.
Yeah.
So they can't do that even if they want to. Their natural skills and talents don't allow for that, and they're coaching from youth.
Yeah.
They literally don't know how to do that. It's not that they're bad players, but it's asking. To me, it's like asking a carpenter that's a world-class chair maker to go build you some world-class stairs.
Yeah.
They can build you some stairs. They'll perform the function, but it's not you need a specialty person for that. And no player on this earth playing today really has that in them anymore. It's been coached out of them. It's not that they're unable to. It's been coached out of them. They've not had the opportunity to do that from youth.
Ineos, the group that controls the I think the operational aspect of the United itself, I think I can see what they're doing, because 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago they sacked, they not really sacked, but they kind of fired Sir Alex Ferguson, and now the coach. So I think they want to restructure the whole managerial system. I think that's huge. I think that's one of the biggest problem at United and one of their downfall, because the system is so messed up. You can't have a team where the last person to have performed very well as a coach in the whole team, regardless of if the team has money or not, and one of the biggest English team, the last coach was 10 years, 15 years ago, when 2012 that he retired, and you can find someone. You get Moyes, you get Mourinho, you get Erik ten Hag, you get all these coaches, and they cannot. Then the question becomes: is the organization a problem, or is the players? There have been several wave of players, and this wave are really talented and they're really young, and you don't keep wanting to do the same mistake, and it would take another coach probably a year to 2 years to start rebuilding again.
It's going to take because you've got a lot of dead weight, and you spent so much more on them than you're going to get back for. It's there's a lot that you because obviously there's pros and cons for letting a manager come in and really have their way with the roster and with transfers, and this is an example of one of the worst ways to handle it, because now you've got this inflated roster where there's no real standouts. You paid top dollar for a lot of these guys, and you're not going to get any return on them. But you have to let them all go. So you have to lose money, to potentially gain money again.
But guess what?
There's a lot of
and
just
I
things
think
up in the
this
air.
roster will be different. The next coach will be different, because I don't think he will have a lot of freedom to hire to get his own players, because the team itself costs a lot of money already, 500-600 million. I don't think they're ready to spend that kind of money. So he will have to do with what he got.
So I think splitting the difference, I agree that he'll probably have not very much control of transfers. But I think that if if the owners think that they have to keep that, you can't keep that squad. You're gonna have to let some of these guys go, but you have to replace them as well. But it's we can't keep some of these fuckers around anymore, man.
No, I'm not saying that he will necessarily keep these guys. I think there will be a lot of guys that will be hot. They will cut them. But I also think the freedom for him to get top players, that
it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. He will have to do. the Barcelona tactic. Probably get kids
from youth. Well, and I thought like a mix of that, and honestly, because at this point you roll the dice on it because it seems to bear some good results. Sell these guys at a loss, and then just go pillage the French league.
Yeah, that's true. Because there's a lot of talent there.
All the superstar, like most of the superstars that come out, had some like that are in the big clubs they got their start at a French. Lille, at a Rennes, at a Marseille, or Lens. You know, like just go take a chance.
You said that Lens like a Frenchman.
Oh, but no, like take a chance on these guys for 15 or 20 million. Tchouameni came out of there. Didn't Camavinga come out as well?
Camavinga.
Saliba comes. Like just honestly, I mean, it seems to yield. I mean, like, obviously do some fucking scouting, but I mean, but no, I mean, like rebuild with kids from the academy, and 20-year-old players from the French league. Get Jonathan Davis in there. Maybe that's the guy that you spend a lot of money on because he's a good goal scorer. Yeah, he's proven himself to be a good goal scorer. But yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to do something for sure. But yeah,
Madrid. Do you have any other news?
No, that was it.
The only thing I would say, I'll get a round of applause to Balotelli that is coming back after 4 months of free agency or whatever. He's coming back
to
Genoa. Yeah, I know. And Balotelli is my guy. I always thought I always thought Balotelli was a wasted talent because of the way he is.
He wasted the talent.
He wasted the talent because he was so indisciplined.
Yeah.
And some people also kind of like this guy as a player. Because
like,
some people kind of
there's something poetic about that, and like I think that's why people still like Eden Hazard quite a bit. Yeah. And he obviously didn't to the same level waste his talent, but it's like it's one thing if a coach wastes your talent, you get mad at the coach. Yeah. But there's something very everyman about this guy being a world-class player, and he himself just saying, fuck it.
Yeah, I don't give a crap. I just
dude, you're wild, man.
Telling 2008 that goal Balotelli scored and just turned around, did this pose, man. Yeah, that was some big Balotelli. Manchester City Balotelli, that was amazing. This guy just had it all, but just couldn't get to the level we all thought and expected him to be just because of indiscipline. So kids, stay in school, man.
Yep, stay in school.
Liverpool had Arsenal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And man, that was a game.
It was a good game. Yeah.
What did you think about the game? See, whenever I see Saka, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I know the game. If they lose, I think it's Arsenal lost. But I know there's something good that will happen. Man, that goal, Saka, that little cut back
into the near post, top corner of the near post. Like oh my god. Yeah. I mean, he played great. I think that it's not making excuses when you can identify the problems.
Yeah.
Like saying, oh, well, that happened because of this.
Yeah.
I think that a 2-2 based on the squads that were fielded is justified.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and say, well, they deserved it. Because, like, if you don't have players available, it doesn't matter. Like, there is no, well, if we had Saliba, it's like, well, you didn't. So that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Considering that, Gabriel has to come off, considering that Ben White's playing out of his recent position. He played at Brighton as a center back, but he's been more as a right back. Having Jakob Kevior coming in because of Yuri and Timber. Like, the defensive issues were the reason that we conceded a lot of those goals. And it's again, not, you're not making excuses when it's like, that's clearly the problem.
Yeah, sure.
Considering the squad that had to be fielded from those defensive woes, I think they still played well. You can still see that they're missing Odegaard in the creativity, but you also see how much Saka contributes again. Yeah, I mean, overall, and, Mikel Merino is slow to pick up the system. On the ball, he scores that goal, and that's great. Great header from that set piece. But that's a better cross from Rice than it is a goal, I think, personally. Not to take away from the goal. But overall, he's slow to get up into the midfield in identifying the style of play. But
I want to read this comment. This guy said, for the crybabies using injuries as an excuse, so this is a Liverpool fan, we qualify for the Champions League with Phillips and Kabak leading our defense for half season. Like you said, there's not really an excuse. I think overall they played very well. Yeah. Although we can still see the missing all the gap. Yeah. Just that whole midfield, what he could have contributed, we can still see that it's we're still missing the guy.
It depends on in that comment. It's like there's a difference in using it as an excuse
Yeah.
and identifying the problem.
Yeah.
It's all about how you phrase it. You know, if you go, well, if we had Saliba, this wouldn't have happened. That's making an excuse.
Yeah.
But what you can say is, if Saliba is in for that Van Dijk set piece,
Yeah.
and he's the one that's covering that far post, they're probably not sending the ball in that area. It's just that's probably just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And you know, the late goal from Salah, if you have Yuri and Timber and Gabriel or Saliba on that side closing him down, you're not going to have Jakub Kiwior come out because you know when Nunez and Salah cross, the defender's supposed to hold their shape.
Yeah, yeah.
Kiwior immediately pulls himself with Nunez, and that's something that the other guys are not going to do.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying that
and
run.
and you know why? Because they're not traditional center backs.
Yeah.
They, you know, because they're more hybrid. So sometimes they think as a left back or right
you
back.
can see that they were uncertain which man they're supposed to mark, whether it was supposed to stay in their zone or man mark all the way through. And you know, I'm not saying that if Saliba and Timber were still those guys, that it was an indefinite non-goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that cross-up's less likely to happen. You're not making excuses. Like you watch that play build up and you go, "Yep, that's Kiwior."
Yeah.
Because Zinchenko would do that stuff too.
Yeah.
You get pulled out of position because you're not entirely sure who you're marking. No, and for all we know, if Timber and Saliba were still back there, even if they didn't get crossed up, I mean, it was a great run from Nunez. It was a great cut in from Salah. Like, that still could have been done. I'm not saying that it wouldn't have. It would have been a surefire thing.
Liverpool played very well.
Yes,
and one thing that I'm still I want to say City might still win, but I also want to give the benefit of doubt to Arsenal. But the reason why I say this is because Arsenal has been gutted lately with injuries. They have a lot of injured players on their rosters, and most of these players are key players. And another thing for Liverpool, it's probably a transition might affect them because Ancelotti is still, I think, transitioning too. But if either of them win, that will really be great for the sport itself.
Yep.
And for the Premier League itself.
Yep.
And for the fans. But what did you think about the refereeing? So some guys are saying the referee, especially the disallowed goal and whatnot, and other things that went into it. And some fans are saying, well, as Arsenal fans, we are used to it. The ref being against us.
Yep. Well, and Luis Diaz kicked the ball away.
Yeah.
After the end of play, that was even called out on commentary. They're like, "Oh, isn't that a yellow card?"
Yeah.
Not anymore. It's not. It's not anymore. And it's not me going. And because again, you know, I don't like to say. I run. You know, I am a part of this podcast. I don't like podcasts that have supporters.
Yeah.
I am the blank guy. I am the blank guy. I try not to be.
Yeah. Overly biased.
I think that I do a pretty good job of not being the Arsenal guy.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but I mean, you can't tell me that that's not inconsistent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm not one of the conspiracy theorists saying that, you know, there's someone at the top that just doesn't want Arsenal to be like. But at the end of the day, like, it's obvious that they started the season with plans in play to make it a little bit more strict in the league itself.
Yeah.
And it caused a lot of problems, a lot of complaining. And they are slowly backing away from what they tried to mandate early on. It's not that they're walking away from an Arsenal conspiracy.
Yeah.
They sat down and said, okay, we're going to take time wasting more seriously. We're going to take this more seriously. And they did. And it happened to affect certain teams. In an alternate universe, it could have been Chelsea. It could have been City. It's just like, those are tactics that were going to be implemented anyway.
Yeah.
But the league itself wanted to crack down on certain things and did, and it caused more problems than it was worth, and they're slowly trying to distance themselves and go back to normalcy, so that now other clubs that, you know, they're doing those things later in the season. It's not exactly the team that did it, it's the timing in which they did it. Early on, you're gung-ho. It's, you know, it's like being the new teacher. You know, the first month or so, you're really strict. It's my classroom, this and that. And then you slowly back down from that. That's what it felt more like than a conspiracy against a certain team to me.
That makes sense. I just want to say I'm really interested to see how this unfolds. But another thing, I will really be interested. I really want Arsenal players to kind of come back from injury. Yeah. So we have a fair all around. But again, City can also say Rodri is injured. So I think injury is part of the sport, and you have to you have to kind of make sure that you have players that can fill in this hole.
Yeah.
Consistency exists for something. So
you
should
can't
always have that.
You can't use injuries as an excuse, but as a fan of the sport, you do want to see every squad at their top percent. You always want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
If you find yourself starting to be thankful that another player is hurt because of how it affects your team, I'm not a big fan of that, because I mean that's just not kind of who I am.
Yeah, no, I get that. Let's go to Spain. Real Madrid.
España.
Yeah, Real Madrid.
Yeah.
This was Barcelona. Oh man, that was a bit down.
That was wild.
Didn't I tell you?
Crazy.
This Barcelona club with these young guys,
dude,
they are playing some kind of football.
Yes.
Straight from Utopia.
Yeah. No, they are.
The last games they've been playing. I would go as far as say the average is like 2 or 3 goals per game, because they are beating down this team.
And they're fun to watch too. And that's the thing, as a fan of the sport, that you want to see as well. Teams can scratch out victories and be on undefeated streaks, and they're boring as shit to watch. And it matters objectively for the club, but you're always just like, man, I don't want to watch that game. But this Barcelona side is high energy, but they're consistent and they cover their gaps well. Yeah, I mean, they're fun to watch. I have a friend that's getting into the sport right now, like barely knows anything about it. I had to explain to him the European versus domestic leagues, and like so he's understanding how it all works.
Yeah.
And this was one of the first games that he watched in full.
Oh, dang.
Fun one to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
so
definitely
very
fun.
cool. Yeah.
He will probably at some point get acclimated to the Madrid versus Barcelona Classic.
Yeah.
That's
why I said I was like, this is probably the biggest rivalry and biggest matchup in Europe in terms of domestic leagues for sure.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt. No. It's like I said, it was them and Liverpool United, but the current shape of those clubs, that rivalry is not as big as it is historically.
Yeah.
But historically, Barcelona and Madrid and Liverpool, Manchester, those are like 2 of the biggest ones.
I don't miss that Clasico. Never.
Yeah.
Or at least I always follow the score, because it's always something. But due to the recent years, because Messi, Ronaldo left, it was a little. The viewership actually been deep, but this one was much expected, because
and with Barcelona not having great form since Messi left either. Like even in the late years of him being there, it was like they weren't quite on that same level, and you were expecting always for it to tip in Madrid's favor, but not this time.
That's true. So with all this, this Clasico was so everybody keep. I wouldn't even say everybody. The commentators, every time I hear them commentating a Barcelona game, they complain about the high line that Barcelona was set up. But guess what? It's working, because against Bayern, so many offside. Against Madrid, oh my goodness, Mbappe couldn't stay on side.
I heard someone say,
his life.
I heard a commentator say, try that against Madrid and see what happens. Because of their pace, they did. And they got him every single time.
And actually, it really makes sense that it will work. But on the other side, if they can adjust it, then they can fight, because this is my theory. I think Mbappe haven't adjusted to the role of a striker, because what he does, I mean, you're supposed to be one of the best guys in the world, so you're supposed to. We expect a level of football from you. You can't just give us a pickup game kind of football. If we want that, we just gonna go at the pickup games.
And you can say that all you want, but he played a number 9 at PSG a lot of the time, and 2 of the shots that he missed, completely out of character, he came in from the left.
No, so what I'm saying that is, it's the number 9. Most people don't understand this. What you call a pure. Mbappe is not a pure striker.
Yeah.
So Haaland will not have been trapped in that offside, and I will tell you why. Because Haaland will be watching the line. Mbappe usually doesn't come off on the line.
Yeah, sure.
He will come either from your left or either from your right, even when he's playing striker, because at PSG the ball is played for him.
Yeah.
The difference, when I see him, he was always caught offside because he's not even watching his line. And Barcelona did a great job. I mean, 8 offside, you start asking yourself, even after 3, if I'm Mbappe, I'm like,
okay, I've got to watch the line now.
Watch the line.
Whether or not I'm used to it or not.
You're throwing off all the other players that are going to send the 2 balls.
Yeah.
Because every time I'm doing, if I'm Modric, if I'm Camavinga, I'm looking at I'm playing, I'm like, okay, I see a run. Then when I send that 2 ball, he is offside.
And,
so Madrid play the defense was absolutely horrific.
Why was Militao in the midfield for most of the time?
Tell me.
It was ridiculous. Like, if you watch any break that they had with a through ball, but Camavinga had some good through balls, and Modric was trying as well to keep those guys on side while getting past the line. But why was every single time that Barcelona broke the line and was advancing on play, why was Militao jogging from the fucking midfield? He was either behind the ball, ready to make a play and just botched his tackle, or he's jogging from where Valverde was supposed to be in the midfield.
Yeah.
Slowly. And he's not a forward, I get that, but he's one of the paciest defenders in Europe for sure. Like, why are you half speed, but why are you 15 yards further in front than you're supposed to be? Why are Vasquez and Rudiger now chasing down guys?
That's true. Why?
Because Rudiger doesn't have the pace to do it, and Vasquez doesn't have the physicality to get guys off the ball. We saw that with the Rafinha one. He just sat there and held his hand while he chipped it over the top.
I think and I understand now why they're trying to find a left back or right back, because it's not working.
And Lunin was not responsible for any of those goals. He was fine. He did nothing wrong at all.
I think the two players that played for me average good in that team was Camavinga and Lunin. Yeah. And I say Lunin because none of those goals were him. Was his fault.
No, they weren't.
The rest of the team, absolutely trash. Vinicius, a little bit, but trash. Mbappe, trash of the trash. I'm talking about, dude, we pay you 200 and something to play some kind of, we expect magic.
Yeah.
And when it's time to give us magic, there's no magic. Rodrigo, I think the whole thing, they need some. I think this was probably a wake up call for them, and I understand that they won Dortmund, but now they finding out that there's certain things we have to adjust. Either it's the defense and the attack. One has to work for the attack to be good, and one has to work for the defense to be good. Because on the midfield, I don't think there was really a problem in the midfield, but because if you think about it, all these through balls that were sent. If you weren't offside, because there's even there's no point for Mbappe to even get a step ahead. He's faster than them.
Yeah.
If I'm fast, I don't need to get a step up. I have to get the ball.
Yeah.
So
but on
credit to Barcelona.
Yeah. On that midfield though, you are wasting Bellingham wide right.
Oh yeah, because he's playing the opposite of Diamond now.
Yeah.
So Bellingham, I think they have to find out a way for him to kind of feel as if Mbappe is your 9, right? He can feel in as a false 9.
Yeah.
So he can potentially, every ball that has been shot and just bounces back, he can come finish it. Yep. Or sometimes he can make the runs that they expect the 9 to make and just kind of form. I think this game wasn't a good game for Madrid, but Barcelona, I love the kids. I'm telling you, this Yamal guy, he plays like he's been playing football for the past 5-8 years professionally.
Yeah, at that level. Yeah. Man, Lewandowski's so good. That first goal, first off, I think it was Kubarsi that threaded the ball through. Dude, as soon as, because his touch on the ball was more important than anything that he did, because it was a perfect through ball. Mm-hmm. But if he had let it continue going, it was probably too far for him. And the keeper could have rushed up and taken it. But he has one little touch from the outside of his foot that kills the ball and lets it roll perfectly into his stride.
Yeah.
And he's not the fastest guy. He was never the fastest guy, but he's certainly not anymore. But that touch, that rendered any pace meaningless. Because he's still a perfect shot. But like that little touch that he gave.
That's why you see the experience of a striker.
It's unbelievable.
Like he knows what to do when the ball. Yep. And he even missed like 1 or 2 because he could have scored a hat-trick. Yeah. I mean, the guys were perfect on execution.
Yeah. Well, because that was a powerful through ball because it came from the back.
Yes.
And it had to travel through the midfield untouched. And so, it would have been too much on the ball if he hadn't killed it. But he did. You're just like, what a one great pass, better first touch. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then that shot from toward the outside of the box. Like he wasn't outside of the box, but he's right on that edge. That was a beautiful goal. Yeah, I mean they kind of had a field day there. Yeah. And he should have had 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He missed 2 at least. And also, man, Mbappe got to go back in the lab and start working. Because he had although we saw the offside, but he had 2 or 3 open misses. Did you see that?
Oh, I know.
Like you wouldn't miss that on normal.
That first one that I said where he had the ball on the left.
Yes.
He cuts in, he puts it on his right foot, and he slices it to the near, and the near post was open. Yeah. He had that channel, and he sliced it too far left, and you're just like, you usually make those. Well, you used to usually make those. You haven't been making those at this
in a while.
Yeah,
In
since
a while.
PSG.
Yeah. In a
Even
while.
even when the
So-
club wasn't playing well, you were playing well.
Yes, so something's gotta he's gotta do retrospection. He has to
Yeah.
figure out what's not working. But at the end of the day, Barcelona won and they played very well. And I see a lot of future bright kids and talented players, possibly even future Ballon d'Ors in that team. So
This is also, I think, the worst season for a Champions League reformat for Madrid, because we don't even really know what a good performance in this league stage looks like anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's like it'd be easier if we were used to the group stages, because they're not playing that well domestically.
yeah.
So if we were to then theorize, well, how far can they go in this tournament? I have no idea, because of how this new format works.
Yeah.
We don't know what, because you know, with the group stages, with the knockout stages, you could say, you know, certain club, oh, they're expected to go quarterfinals at least, or, you know, if Madrid doesn't make it to semifinals, at least something's wrong. I don't know what it looks like for someone to get knocked out of the league stage, or squeak by in the league stage, or, you know what I mean? Like it's such an odd new shape of the format that I think that when you're not playing this well,
Yeah.
and you don't have like a calibrator
yeah.
to see what it looks like playing well in this new format, it might not be good for them this season in the Champions League. I don't know, because I don't know what a good run looks like in this format.
That's true.
Is getting to the round of 16 now a good format,
Yeah.
or a good expectation, because the league format now has basically introduced 2 new big games for you that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
You're basically facing 2 more major clubs than you were used to.
That's
So,
true.
so
I see,
is that enough to keep guys out of the group, out of the league stage?
Yeah.
Because you can't look at getting knocked out of the league stage now as the same as getting knocked out in the group stage, because they're very different.
Yeah.
One-off games against bigger sides, home or away, you don't know. So like, we have no idea what this thing looks like, but also it's a horrible time for a team that's expected to play lights out, not playing well in a new tournament where you can't gauge anything at all. It's awful.
Yeah. I know, if I had to just guess, I feel like I can say Barcelona will go far. But also, like I said too, because they lost 2 weeks ago against a team in the league, just 2-0. So even overall, like you said, I can see that also for all of them. But you know, it's Champions League. We are known for Champions League, so we'll go far. We might not win,
whatever
but
the
we'll
format
go far.
is, you're expected to. Whatever the format
And
is, you're expected in the finals.
For a club like Madrid, you can even do without winning the league, but if you don't get far in the Champions League, you have failed.
So like you have,
and you might be sacked for that.
it is a failure if you don't get to the final.
Yeah,
You know, like
because
that
you
is
already
crazy.
built that thing. You know, it's like we're not Arsenal.
Yeah. No.
We're not Tottenham. You gotta go somewhere. But I'm saying, like you said, they need a lot of readjustment. But this was probably a wake up call for them. That they're not playing that great. They're not playing good at all.
That's the thing. It's not that they're not playing great. They're not playing well.
They're not playing.
They're playing badly.
That's what I'm saying. They're not playing good, and they need a lot of readjustment. Especially, they need a lot. But I trust Carlo Ancelotti. He will do his magic. I'm waiting Barcelona back again. But there's gonna be a lot of games. But overall, I'm interested to see where they go, how far they go, especially in the new format, like you mentioned. But Lewandowski was the man of the match. It's
Sure he was.
Happy for him playing at this level at that age, man. It's running circles around his youth. I would say this though, we are at the end of our podcast. And go subscribe, go watch us, go to any platform that you see us. Just subscribe.
We've got a TikTok, we've got YouTube, we've got
Everything.
Spotify.
Go on Spotify.
Those are the 3 big ones.
Yeah, give the 5 stars or whatever stars, 6 stars. I don't know. If
Star review, subscribe, hit that bell, bitch.
Yeah, let me give you some content.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna start doing. If you ought to go subscribe.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you next week. Bye.
Nice hat. Goodbye.